This is actually the first manual car I've ever owned. I have about 2,000 miles on it now. It's not the first manual car I've ever driven. I have a solid amount of manual experience. But one thing I must say that I dislike, which can be found in traditional manual cars, is the electric parking brake. I obviously would love to have a handle for many reasons. I'm a traditional guy, and this kind of sucks. It's not a big deal, but it's not as fun as pulling on a full brake. The other complaint I have would be the amount of space I have for storage is very minimal. Keep in mind it is a race car, so you know, I can't complain. I do use this cup holder often. I never use this cup holder, but I often have to find myself putting my phone down, my wallet, my keys in the passenger seat, which can be a pain because if I have more than just a phone in here, it actually ends up picking up on the occupant seatbelt not fastened, and I get that thing all day, which can be really annoying. Obviously love the tachometer, which they decided to get rid of in the 992.2. Unfortunately, they are idiots for doing so. And I love my key fob still being a real key fob and not a push key fob. Thank the Lord I still have that. Outside of that, the CarPlay is obviously a magnificent feature. I'm not a big fan of the air conditioning menu being on the touchscreen as well. I obviously get these, which I love, but the rest of the air conditioning, as in changing the direction of the blowing, has to be handled from the touchscreen. The thing that I absolutely hate is this cup holder right here. Sure, there isn't so much space, so I don't know where else they would have put it, but it sucks when you have an actual cup. It's right in line with where you shift. So your hand ends up being up here, which is pretty fucking lame. I must say that I do not like what it looks like with the spoiler extended. I think it's a very odd looking extension of a spoiler, and I've seen options for modification with the 911 ST duckbill spoiler, which I've considered, but I can't get used to the way this looks. I don't think it looks good like that. I'm also not a big fan of the touchscreen system. I do miss in the 991s when we had the option for the exhaust button down here instead of it being a touchscreen, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm a big fan of buttons. I'm glad we still have these. Obviously, I love the front axle lift. Massive feature, so I'm not absolutely roasting my bumper on speed bumps. She is awfully dirty, so please don't judge me on that. I've been dailying the car for now. But fun fact about the car is that this hood, this front hood, is actually completely carbon. To replace this carbon hood, it will run you about $25,000. So keep in mind, when having someone that is inexperienced or you yourself opening and closing this hood, you want to be very gentle with the closure, and of course right on the symbol and a nice little click. Very, very expensive mistake to make would be closing that hood a little too hard. You don't want to be spending $25,000 on a hood.